Friends, Toastmasters, kindred spirits, I come here to praise Jack, not to bury him. Jack was giving the speech project number 2 from the Speaking to Inform Advanced Manual. For those of you working through your Competent Communicator Manual, this is what you have awaiting you, an advanced manual where you get to branch off into a number of different topics of your interest. This was Speaking to Inform. The purpose of this, Resources for Informing, was to talk to the audience about a subject that was of interest and to support the points with research and visual aids. And Jack, you did all of those in an outstanding manner. Just some comments starting from the beginning. You had some preparation to do, moving the lecture and getting the PowerPoint presentation down, and you did that very effectively by making it clear that that was the preparation and not part of the speech. You have to be a little careful about that. Your opening was effective. You know, money, I think most of us can relate to money, so that was a very good way to get our attention, and you told us what you were going to describe in the Bitcoins. So in terms of the criteria for the advanced speech, which are typically a little bit different than the competent communicator ones, was it directed to the interests and background of the audience? Absolutely. We're all interested in money, and more of our transactions are electronic, and this was an example of kind of a cutting edge or geeky version of it. Did you support your points? You had charts that were visually effective in showing what your points were about. I'm going to talk specifically about those in just a bit. And were you knowledgeable? Absolutely. I had a great deal of confidence in your knowledge of the subject when you were speaking, by the way that you spoke, by the way that you brought various facts up. Now, a few suggestions. You had 4 visual aids. One was charting the dollar against the euro. One was a pie chart that was showing the various denominations of physical money. One was a transaction chart showing how Bitcoin worked, and the final one was kind of the history of Bitcoin over time. My one biggest suggestion was you had really about 3 speeches worth of stuff you were trying to get into this. Those 3 speeches I would have given I would have had one on just how Bitcoin works. When you were describing it, I thought there could have been a couple of improvements to that. First of all, you were using things like encryption, private public key. I know what those are. I think most people don't. I think the chart would have been better getting the point across if it had been animated. So you start with the guy and then you show the transaction and then describe a little bit more about what that key was about. You had effective visual aids, but I didn't see any resources. So the pie chart, what was the source of that? Again, and when, just in terms of presentation, you were discussing the transaction, but the chart that was showing was the time chart of the value of Bitcoins. That would have been better back in the previous one. But very educational, very relevant, and I very much look forward to hearing much more.